And when do you think this lockdown's going to end? What's your prediction?
I don't think this well. I mean, fully end. I think nobody has that answer. I think, we're hoping that the 30th there's some freedom or some industries or professions that will loosen up and that are reopening. I think it'd be good to see infrastructure work and those employees. For not just the public sector, but the private sector, right? Let the construction people get back to work. Let's continue to build this country, to build this economy, to build, highways, bridges,
Yeah.
roads, but also buildings, residential, commercial, hotels. Let's get back to that. And then some other, service providers, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh,
And,
Let
and
them
you
get
know,
back to work. It'd be good to see if the LRT and the MRT start running in jeepneys, some type of distancing, or at least I would assume everybody's going to be wearing a face mask. There's going to be hand sanitizer, but I think it'd be good if people could get back to work and, get the economy going. I mean, there's a lot of great things about the Philippines, and one of the great things about the Philippines is the economy. It's a booming economy, and that, comes from the people.
yeah, that's true. And then, actually, one of the things that you said that really resonates with me that I've heard from other people is that, the government should take advantage of the fact that there's a lockdown and start building more roads as fast as they can with social distancing. It can be done with construction anyway, because when you look at construction, they're not supposed to be side by side with each other anyway, right? And that would be a great time to prime the economy, especially now. Um, do you think, what do you think was going to be different with our lives after the lockdown? Or after this lockdown, things are going to be different. How do you see it going to be different in terms of how we socialize?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a while people are going to really change the way they interact. I mean, for a while there might be less hugging, there might be less,
Yeah.
giving high fives, there might be less kissing on the cheek when you see somebody. Um, I think in restaurants, when they do reopen, it's going to be, let's say, every other table.
Wow.
If we can go to the movies or a ball game, it's going to be every, 2 or 3 seats, and maybe nobody in front of you, or every other row. When we get to that point, I think certain industries are still going to suffer, if you will, as a result, because they're essentially not going to open.
Yeah.
At least for a while. I mean, the non-essential industries or services, I would probably think they wouldn't open for a while.
Right. And I think the problem is like with the restaurants, what you talked about. I agree with that. If they start creating social distancing with the tables and creating like a minimum 6 feet distance between each table, wow. How are they going to be able to pay rent with that limited amount of space and now limited amount of tables? That's going to be insane. Do you think the rental prices are going to go down, or what do you think is going to happen?
I guess it's going to, probably supply and demand is going to adjust things. I mean, that's a possibility. So, if you look at retail space, and again, if you can only have so many people in a store at a certain period of time, that could potentially reduce sales. But when it comes to restaurants, just like you said, if it's every other, and it's not just in this city or country, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
If it's every other seat,
Right.
every other table, so they reduce their occupancy by 50%. That means their sales are reduced by 50%. Maybe you can they can make it up a bit with more deliveries, which we're seeing a lot of deliveries, because essentially, I mean, you can only cook, so many nights a week before you say, you know what, let's get takeout, or let's get something delivered to the house. But
Speaking of takeout, look at what I got. I just had this takeout.
not bad. Sarap.
Yeah, so I sometimes, I crave for junk food. Don't you? I mean, like, I get tired of a good meal. Sometimes I want to just like be spoiled and eat something totally unhealthy.
I mean, listen, I don't agree with it, because I'm very disciplined. I don't eat junk food.
Are you
No,
really?
honestly,
Are you
no, my what?
are you really disciplined? Like, do you always eat clean?
I haven't had McDonald's since I was 15, and I eat zero fast food, zero junk food, uh, zero processed food. I mean, the only thing processed I would eat would be pasta.
Oh,
Um,
no way. I didn't know that about you. But you drink, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, social drinker a bit here and there if I go out.
Right, right, and
If
that's
you
about
have,
it.